Hello, what is going on, everybody? This Q back again for another video for you guys today. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day, great New Year, watched the Super Bowl, had a great Christmas, holiday season and all. It's probably been busy for some of you, significant others, family to take care of, but, now you just get to sit back and relax and watch this video that I'm going to make for you and listen to this video I'm going to make for you. And today we're actually going to be doing kind of a special video, kind of a different video, something that I haven't really delved into before. And today we're going to be talking about a game that I just think that if you have the opportunity to play it, if you have the opportunity to buy it, you should. And it is from the studio Klei Productions, which a lot of you might know from games like Don't Starve, Oxygen Not Included, Don't Starve Together, or you may even know them from co-producing games like A Beginner's Guide and The Stanley Parable. Now, this game has a very similar look to some of the earlier Klei production games, like the two Shank games, if you guys have seen any of those. And the game that we are talking about is none other than Mark of the Ninja, one of my personal favorite stealth games. And I play like Dishonored, Styx, games of those variety when it comes to, my immersive sim stealth games. But this one is definitely not to be scoffed at, even though it is like a 2D side-scroller, Metroidvania-esque looking game. Not that those games are games to scoff at. If that's the genre you enjoy, then you play your damn games, man. Now, the reason I decided to make a video about this game is because I feel like this is one of Klei Productions' lesser-known games. I feel like some people may know their earlier games like Shank. I know a lot of you know Don't Starve and Oxygen Not Included, especially because YouTubers like Markiplier and Jack played all these games. And then some of you, again, because of Mark and Jack, may know A Beginner's Guide and The Stanley Parable. But not many people that talk about Klei Productions I see tend to talk about Mark of the Ninja, so I wanted to make a video and I wanted to talk to you guys about it because I personally find it to be one of my favorite stealth games to play when it comes to wanting a very in-depth stealth system and just an overall fun game experience. Now, there are a multitude of reasons why I like Mark of the Ninja. The one that I would like to start off with most is the art style. Now, while a lot of the maps are darker blues and blacks, they do eventually use some of those lighter, brighter colors to obviously, signify different things going on within the story and to just draw your attention to different parts of the map, like when you are doing a mission where you have to burn down a building now and everything goes from these dark blacks and blues and reds to now it's these bright oranges and yellows when the fire encompasses the building, right? And then they make their gases that they make that kill you later in the game, they're like a green color, so you know to avoid things of that color and everything. And just their use of colors and their use of palettes and the way that colors blend and mesh together and their use of what's the word for it? Contrasting is just very cool to me. And not to mention, if we want to begin to talk about the colors and the art of this game, the tattoos that are on the MC, the bright red, super cool clan memorabilia. Not that clan, the clan within the game, the very bright red clan type of dragon-esque tattoo that he has going across his body that you only see for a little bit. When you begin the game, you only see it on his eyes, but then when you unlock some of the stuff later in the game that I will mention later, you get to see more of it as the tattoo is complete, right? It's kind of like if you ever played Far Cry 3 and when you upgrade your tattoo, your tatau in Far Cry 3, it begins to take up more of your arm and it begins to have more detail. Think of it like that, except instead of it being this dark black ink color, it has those dark black ink colors, but it also has highlights of these very bright whites and reds. Now, outside of their art direction and their color choice, I would like to talk about their actual in-depth stealth system. Now, I don't know much about their stealth system. I don't understand much about how it works. I'm going to try to explain it from the way that I know it, from playing the game, from seeing people play the game. I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I know how to. Now, the very cool thing about their stealth system is you can choose not to kill people, obviously, and that's a very basic stealth game thing. In Dishonored, you can choose not to kill a bunch of people. In Styx, I believe you can at least go a less lethal route. In Deus Ex, things of that nature, but Deus Ex isn't really a stealth stealth game, that more goes into the immersive sim. But, enough about those games, right? Mark of the Ninja, you can choose whether to be super lethal or you can be like super passive and pass by all the enemies, which is very cool that they give you that option for a game that came from Klei Productions that are famous for, games like Don't Starve, their survival game, and Oxygen Not Included, which is more of like a resource management type of game, like a Sims type of game. I don't really know how else to explain it. But it is very cool because when you do choose a lethal playthrough, like in most games where you can choose a lethal and a passive playthrough, the lethal pursuit and the lethal options for taking out your enemies are very cool, and you get a lot of them. You can get hanging takedowns where you hang from ledges above you, or not ledges, you can hang from pinpoints essentially. You hang by a chain, and you can go and complete like a special animation when you kill somebody. You can hide in vents, and you can pull them into vents which hide their body, which gives you more score, which I will explain like the score and kind of like the point of a lot of these levels later in the game, right? I mean, you can hang from ceilings, you can come from floor vents, you can come from wall vents, you can throw chandeliers on people and you can kill them. There's a lot of different options that you get, and they're all named something different. And another cool thing, right, about the scoring system is if you kill somebody and you do an assassination type that automatically hides the body, you get more points because hiding the body gives you more points. It's a very cool system that I tend to enjoy a lot. Now, let's begin to talk about the progression of the game and kind of how you go through the game, right? So, essentially, it is a, 2D side-scroller-esque game where you go through levels, right? And in each level, there's going to be roughly 9 objectives. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you consider what they are, and I'm going to explain some of them, right? The first 3 objectives that you have are your score objectives, right? Basically, all you have to do when you kill people, when you don't kill people, when you sabotage equipment, when you do a lot of the things within the game, you get points, right? And then at the end of the level, your points are all tallied. You get a multiplier based on how many people you didn't kill, based on if you got noticed, based on if anybody had like an inkling that you were there. If you were super stealthy, you get super bonus points, so it's really cool. So the first 3 objectives is just how high you can get your score, and it realistically is not that hard. Your first try going through most of these, you can get your score to the very highest mark. You can get the 3 seals very quickly, right? But then the next 3 objectives that you're going to worry about are the challenges, and the challenges are probably my favorite part of this game because they make you think in a different way. In one level, you may have a challenge where it's like, okay, kill 3 guards within this amount of time, and it's just a time trial based thing, all right? It's not too difficult. You can get that, right? And then maybe there's one where you have to get to a certain part just in the level in a certain amount of time, so another time trial based thing, right? There's others where it's you have to terrify enemies and make them fall to their own death. You have to, there's a bunch of things that you can do. There's one later in the game when you learn how to ride the boxes and everything, right? Where you have to ride this box all the way to the very top of the compound without being spotted and without ever getting off the box, which I just think is really funny, right? And then your final 3 objectives that you're going to worry about are the scrolls that you can collect within the game. And the scrolls are also very interesting because the scrolls give you little tidbits and pieces of lore from the game. Now, this isn't like a lore retrospective. I'm not going to sit here and tell the lore to you guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't pay that much attention to it in general. I just like the art style and the colors and the stealth system. The story is very cool if you pay attention to it, but I don't pay much attention to it, right? But if you do like to pay attention to it, you can collect all these scrolls in these levels. You can get little pieces and tidbits of the lore. And some of these guys I have had to go back and I have had to find, with video help, right? Some of these are not in the most obvious of places, and some of them are a lot harder to find than I feel like is let on. And now, what you do when you complete those objectives, right, is for every objective you complete, like I said, there's 9 objectives every level, your scores, your challenges, and then your scrolls, right? For each of those that you do, you get a token, essentially. You get a not essentially, you do get a token, right? And then you use your tokens in between levels while you're setting up for levels in your equipment menu to purchase upgrades, whether that is upgrades to your character and the specific types of assassinations and things you're allowed to do, or even if it's upgrades to your character that increases the amount of padding in your armor so you can take more hits from people, because you can also choose to do this game in a loud way where you go and just beat people up instead of, doing stealth. It is heavily encouraged that you do stealth, but that is a way that you can play the game if you so choose, right? And you can use these tokens you get to upgrade your character, upgrade your equipment, because there are two main types of equipment in the game, right? There's attack equipment, and then there is distraction equipment, essentially. Your attack equipment is going to be things that cause damage and, are lethal to enemies, right? Like, there's, what's it called? Like Hishu terror darts, which essentially, if you throw them at an enemy, you cause terror within them, which causes them to move irately, and it also causes them to kill their fellow soldiers, right? So I like to use those because I think they're really cool. There's landmines. If people step over them, they blow up. There's spike mines. If people step over them, it's like just a giant spike that travels through them, essentially, right? And then there's distraction items that are used more for, being discreet and stealthy, like dusk moths, which cover up sources of light, smoke bombs, which cover up lasers and also sources of light, right? And then also, funny enough, as a distraction item, there is a reference to Metal Gear where you can hide within a cardboard box and get assassinations that way. So for those of you who enjoy Metal Gear, there you go. You get a little cameo in the game, right? Now, basically, your incentive to progress through the levels is the suit system and or like more called the style system. It's not really a suit system, but essentially we're going to call it the suit system, right? And this suit system, right, as you progress through the game, as you complete challenges, as you hit certain story marks within the game, you will unlock a new suit. Now, your base suit that you start off with, you get one distraction item, you get one attack item, and there are no additional bonuses to the suit. But then there are suits like the Path of Silence, which allows you to carry two distraction items, so there's no space for an attack item, but every movement you make is completely silent, except for like item-related noises, right? Like noisemakers and, throwing your grappling hook. There is the Path of Wisdom, where if you have the Dosan DLC, it allows you to do a non-lethal takedown, right? You don't have a sword, but and you cannot use Farsight, which is something you will use in the game. Farsight essentially allows you to see further into the level, right? It allows you to use like this kind of weird thermal-esque vision to see like how certain electrical wires connect so that you can destroy certain electrical grids and stuff, right? And then there is also Focus, which I believe does a very similar thing, right? There's the one that you will get towards the end of the game called the Path of Serenity, which gives you no space, I think, for either a distraction or an attack item, but you get to use the Mark of Serenity, which allows you to kind of like teleport around. And I like that one. I think that one's really cool. And it also makes your sword gleam gold. So I just think it's really cool. Now, I'm going to try to go over some things that I may have not explained so well. So for the scrolls, there are some scrolls that are locked behind certain challenges you have to do, and the challenges are never really that hard. I'll throw one up on screen for you. Sometimes it's just like logic puzzles, like you just have to figure out the order to do some things in. Most of them are kind of like just figuring out the order in order to do things in. Not a lot of them are really that difficult. Some of them you have to like have guards' bodies in the level to allow you to traverse through lasers, because lasers and a lot of things that require guards, right? Or not require guards, but a lot of things within the game can be bypassed by using a guard's dead body. Lasers, some of the motion sensors with it are a little buggy. But, I also did not explain about the suits, is that some suits are tied directly to doing certain challenges, right? There are 4, like, different types of challenges. There are nightmare challenges, there are stealth challenges, right? And after you complete a certain number of each type of challenges, right, you will unlock certain suits. Like after you do like 3 silence challenge, or whatever the correct name for them is, I don't really know, right? You will get the silence suit. When you do 3 nightmare ones, you'll get the nightmare suit, right? And then there are some that are specifically tied to story progression. Only 2. One of them is Dosan's Tale, which you get after completing the Dosan DLC, which Dosan, I believe, is like one of the first ninjas to be within this clan or whatever. Like I said, I don't know the lore entirely. And then there's the Mark of Serenity, which you get towards the end of the game. Essentially, when it comes to Mark of the Ninja, I like it mainly for its very cool stealth system and the ability to terrify enemies and cause them to kill themselves, kill one another, and the way it kind of allows you to express yourself and do the game in such a way where you can make every single run that you do very specific to you, right? You can go a completely silent route and kill nobody and only use distraction items. You can use no items, like you can ban yourself from using like Mark of Serenity, all these other things, right? And I just like the fact that each run for everybody will be different depending on how you personally choose to play the game, right? And then something that I didn't really explain about the terror system, right? I don't necessarily know what sets off the terror system. I know that the Hishu terror darts automatically set it off, but sometimes when guards walk in on another guard that's been killed in a very brutal way, like when you do the hanging assassination, right? Where essentially you go to a perch point, you latch down, and then you tie like a chain around their neck and you hang them up, right? That can cause terror in some instances if they walk in on it, right? But it's not always like that. Like I said, I don't understand 100% how it works. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I just ask very nicely that you hit the like button and subscribe, right? It really helps me out, right? It makes me, see that this is the type of content that you guys like, and it allows me to continue to get an idea of what you guys want to see on the channel, right? I am going to try to do more variety of videos, try to play different games, right? I've been trying to branch out into playing like roguelikes, like Risk of Rain and stuff like that, right? So, content on that will be coming soon. But this is a video that I've wanted to make for a while. Like I said, leave the comments down below, any criticisms you have, right? I know I did repeat myself a little bit in this video, and I didn't necessarily explain everything in the best way, right? But that's also because I want you guys to go and play the game, right? You guys may think differently of the systems and, the things that go on in this game than I do, right? So I just implore you to go play it because I enjoyed it. I think people that watch me and people that like similar games to me would enjoy it, right? So I just implore you to go actually just try the game, right? There's hundreds and thousands of games that are out there, right? Spending a little money just to play one isn't going to kill you, right? With all that being said, I hope you guys like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Every video that I make and every single view that I get and every single subscriber that I get just pushes me more and more to make more videos for you guys so that I can end up doing this full time for you guys. Because to be able to do this full time for you guys, to be able to make content for you guys, would be an absolute damn dream. So, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that. Continue to have a great February. It's Black History Month. Go up to your fellow homeboy, your fellow soul brother, and let him know that you appreciate him, Be sure to, learn your history and everything like that, right? So, I hope you guys have a great time. Hope you continue to have a great month. Happy Black History Month to all my fellow melanated brothers out there watching this video, right? I may be a little light-skinned, but all right, I'm still with you guys, you feel me? Right? I hope you guys have a great time. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to try to make, maybe a more polished type of video like this. I repeated myself a lot within this video. I tend to do that a lot once these videos kind of stretch on past that like 10-15 minute mark, right? But I'm going to see you all in the next video where hopefully we'll back with some normal, regularly scheduled programming like some Dead by Daylight. But I will see you guys in the next video.